Hello, everybody. We got a victory. We got a victory. It was good to start the season with a crowd, and I thought the fans were into the game, and I felt our team was inspired about playing in front of people again. I do take my hat off to Coach McCaffrey and that team that he's coaching. I think for not having a season and a half and for them to play the way they played, I thought they fought really, really hard. I think they have a really good program and a good team, and we were fortunate enough to make a few more plays than them. I'm really disappointed in the discipline of our team right now. That's where I'm frustrated. We should have played a lot cleaner. I know it's the first game, and some of those things happen, but from my side of it, I just felt we could have played much, much better and executed better. I have to give the Northern Colorado, they had a completely different defensive scheme. We never had a chance to get any information on, and I think that helped them in the first half of the game with really not giving us a lot of really consistent drives. I have to give the offensive coaches and the defensive coaches the hats off to them. At halftime, we made the right adjustments. We figured out what they were doing, and then we were able to have some successful drives in the second half that gave us a little more continuity and some points on the board. So it was good problem solving that we knew that we were going to have to do at a certain level, not knowing this team. I felt that the coaches and the players responded in the second half pretty well. Just disappointed in the penalties. I think it's very uncharacteristic of the type of team that I'm coaching, and we'll get those things fixed.
Reminder to ask for the mic if you have a question.
Carl, just speaking to that, is that something that you saw in camp at all, that discipline, or was that really just tonight?
Not at all. So, and we addressed that in our locker room at the end of the game, and we're not going to ever see that again.
Could you talk a little bit about the ground game, 4 different backs getting into the end zone tonight?
That was good. It was good to see that. We have really good depth in our backfield, as you guys all know, and I think they like I said, I thought our coaches in the second half really figured out what they were doing, and we were able to have some continuity and some efficiency in the second half. So it was really good to see that. I'm happy about all those backs. I can't keep them all happy. That's the challenge right now, is trying to keep them all happy when we don't, not all of them can carry the ball at the same time. But it's a great problem to have, and it's good to have that type of production from all those guys.
Carl, on the other side of that coin, a bit of a slow night through the air offensively. Just overall, how do you assess how Brendan Lewis played tonight, and how pleased or displeased are you overall just with his performance this evening?
Well, I was pleased, and pleased in a way that he felt uncomfortable in certain things, where things were, and a lot of those issues that he was dealing with in the game, things weren't open. But he'll tell you though that he's missed a few, today. But I felt he did a really good job of managing the game. He didn't throw any errant passes to the other people, which is what obviously we want to guard all the quarterbacks to not do. He had to throw the ball away a few times when he was flushed out of the pocket. So I would say, it was a solid performance from him, and really that defense was very challenging defense. They were very similar to what San Diego State's defense was last year for us. So they did a great job of scouting us because they had more information on us, and we had none on them. But I have to give like I said, our team credit in the second half. As soon as we understood what they were doing, we were able to put more points on the board.
Carl,
I felt defensively we did pretty well. We didn't want them to run the ball. We didn't allow them to run the ball. So I think that was first and foremost. We got a chance to get a lot of players playing because we have some depth, but they're young. They're young on that side, and so those young corners got a chance to have a couple of strong series at the end of the game in some pretty competitive moments. So it was good to get some depth into the game and get some college experience, and hopefully we'll continue to build on their experience as we go.
Carl, a couple guys coming off of injury for you, I thought played really well on defense. Chris Miller and Nate Lammon. Your early impressions just watching those two guys tonight?
I thought they both played solid. They did. They played well. Was really encouraged by their leadership. They were very, I think, instrumental in the communication, both in the back end and what Nate does on the front seven. So it was good to see that both of those guys are back healthy and playing and without any ill effects. So I think they had a solid game. So I think overall the defense played really, really well. They did. They played well. Unfortunately, for the last touchdown that we did give up, we just missed some tackles, and we got to. That's usually what plagues the defense in the first game is missing tackles, and it's unfortunate that came up, late in the game for us.
Carl, just two quick ones on special teams, if I could. For starters, Demetri Stanley, a couple punt returns tonight, almost 70 yards for him. Do you feel like you saw some flashes of what could be when he gets a full season of just being able to return punts for you guys this year?
We're hopeful of that. We really are. He's a really good player, a dynamic kid, and he enjoys returning punts, and we enjoy having him back there. We had some good field position because of the efforts that he made in the punt return business, and our special teams played solid. It was a little leaky in protection in our field goal unit, and I know we missed a field goal there, a 53-yarder where we hit the crossbar, but I feel strongly that Cole Becker played well. He had some touchbacks, and we had good coverage. The return units did pretty well, so it was a good start overall in special teams.
Yeah, Chase Penry had a nice third down catch. When in the preseason did you view him as a guy that could help you guys out this season?
He was one of those freshmen that came in and just has a great knack for understanding our system. I think he picked it up pretty fast, and he was performing like that all camp. Whenever he had a chance in practice to make a play on a ball, he would do it. I think the quarterbacks all feel very confident in what he is, and the lights weren't too big for him, and he made it, like you said, a tremendous third down catch in traffic, and that's the kind of kid he is. But he's been performing like that really, the whole camp.
As well, Carl, you guys are able to adjust in game, like you said, you're literally hitting that cold. How much better do you have to be turning the page to next week and taking that progression forward, and probably the next 2 weeks that way?
Yeah, they know what's in front of us. Our team knows, and the penalties will definitely take you out of a game. I know that, and that's what we discussed at halftime. And when we make great plays and we get a chance to get off the field defensively, you can't have a personal foul penalty. Those things really resets the chains. They get better yardage, and that puts us behind the 8 ball again. And then offensively, same thing. We had a personal foul and a couple drives were started where we were getting deep into the opponent's territory in the red zone, and then we have a personal foul and we skip back to the midfield 50-yard line. It's just, that's uncharacteristic. That's not team football. And if we continue down that path, it's going to hurt us all season long. We got to fix it. You got to play within our system and do things with using better judgment and play more discipline. And those are the characteristics that we're all about. And so that's kind of the thing that's clouded this whole night, was that I'm so disappointed in the penalties.
What was it like running out behind Ralphie for this first time here, and then ask you about the environment? The student section seemed to be rocking out there tonight.
Yeah, the environment was awesome. I thought the student section was rocking. They were right behind us, and I think our players really gravitated to that, and they fed off that energy. It's a shame we can't run really too close behind Ralphie just yet, because you notice when she ran out and did her loop, we had to make sure she finished her loop before we actually took the field. We're trying to progress to that next stage when we can run out with her, but she's a baby, and but she looks good, and I think she enjoyed it, having the crowd cheering for her. So it's everything's kind of different right now from that standpoint. But it's good to have Ralphie back, and she's going to be a good one, and she's got an interesting personality too. So I got to meet her a few times, and I'm sure that she's going to enjoy this, every step of the way in the future.
It was a record student scan-in tonight, all time. Go ahead.
Carl, just one more for me. I mean, you mentioned the penalties kind of cloud things for you, but overall, this is the first game with this team, and you've mentioned a lot how this is a different group than last year. How important to get a game like this where you can run away with it and win 35-7 in a game you don't play that well, and get some guys their feet wet and things like that? How important is it just for this team to kind of get all that out of the way?
That's really the silver lining, and in a way, that's what I was trying to express with the team and the locker room, is that we won 35-7. It was a pretty decisive win, but how good can we be? I mean, my vision of this team is we can be as good as we want ourselves to be, and we did it kind of was shooting ourselves in the foot today, but won a very decisive game. So they're going to learn from that. You know, Mekhi Blackman makes a great interception, and he's excited about it, and you know, that was critical. You know, like you talked about Chris Miller, it was good to get him back in a game where he's healthy and where he can make some plays. You know, all those things are really good things, but the things that would cause you to start losing games is the way that we played after the whistle. And if we do that and continue to do that, then we're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot, and we're gonna end up losing games. So hopefully we've learned that tonight, and I've expressed that enough with the team tonight, and we'll get those things fixed going forward.
Last one from Justin.
Coach, just heading into this game, knowing that there were going to be some looks from UNC that you hadn't seen, there wasn't really much on these guys to go off of. How pleased were you just with the game plans that your coordinators were able to come up with and the adjustments on both offense and defense that they made throughout the game?
Well, we other than just understanding what they were doing defensively against our offense, it took about a half, really to get that right. I know we had 14 points at half, but it wasn't the easiest 14 points. And I thought in the second half we had so much better control of the game, and we were having just consistent drives. We had a 90-yard drive for a touchdown, so it was so much better in the second half. So I felt offensively we were starting to click and do those things. I know Brendan missed Brendan Rice on a corner route, which would have scored for a touchdown, but we ended up scoring on that drive anyway. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we can still be better at, and I know that they know that. I thought defensively, like I said, we shut them down in the run game. We wanted to make it a one-dimensional game, and we have a young secondary, but they're a very talented secondary. I felt that they played pretty well, and they had a few plays where they kept some crossing routes, and they got a couple crossing routes that got some yardage for them, but they tried to challenge the deep ball, and we had guys that were right there, in great coverage on the deep balls, and so I feel our secondary, even though it's young, it's a very talented secondary. So. We just got to keep bringing ourselves along. We really do.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. These two good-looking dudes back here.
Yeah. So we have yeah. Coming up, guys. We have Chris Miller, Mekhi Blackman, and Jarek Broussard. Questions for these guys?
I'll just start with all three of you guys. I mean, we talked with some of you about it before this, but playing in front of the fans, the student section was so loud and into it right off the bat, running behind Ralphie. I mean, just all three of you can give your thoughts on just the whole atmosphere of everything tonight.
I mean, it's a good feeling. Like, we've been working really hard, like in camp and stuff. So, for us to be able to play with fans now, like finally, is like a gift, really.
Yeah, along with him, it's just really good to see everybody out there again, supporting us. Getting the students back into it, letting them get the experience of just watching us play. So that felt good too.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty cool experience. Playing with fans, the game was full of emotions, and it was just fun to come see everybody come out and watch us play, and to get a win was really good.
Jarek, obviously, you got things started tonight on the ground for the team, but when all was said and done, 4 tailbacks in total scored touchdowns tonight. Do you guys think you showed just how versatile and deep you guys are in the tailbacks room? And was this something that you were seeing every day during fall camp in August?
Yeah, that's what we talk about the most in most of my interviews. I always say we got a good group of guys that can all do great things, and it was just good to see those guys come out and get to touch the end zone. That was pretty fun to watch my peers. Have a good time and ball out.
Chris, for you, how good did it feel to play a full game and be out there healthy and make an impact like you did?
Honestly, it felt really good just to be out there contributing somewhat, because really it's basically like my first full game since 2019. So it felt really good to be back out there playing my role and doing whatever I can do for my brothers. So that felt good.
your overall thoughts on the defense? I mean, other than giving up the one touchdown, you guys really, kind of held them down.
I felt like it was a decent game for us for a first game. We made some mistakes, but those are fixable. But I think at a high, we all had great effort and great energy the whole time. So I think that was really good for us and just a good learning experience. So we get back on the film and learn from all the mistakes that we had, and we can grow from them because I think we have a lot more in store for us.
Jarek, on I think at least 3 of those touchdown runs, Jaylee Stacks was in the game. What is it like having a guy like that as part of kind of your short yardage package that you can kind of follow in those situations?
Having a guy like Jay Lee is really good, you know what I'm saying, to clear the hole up for us. But another thing a lot of people don't know is he can actually tuck the ball as well. So, I mean, I should look forward to seeing that soon.
Just for any of you guys, Coach in here a second ago was just talking about the penalties racked up. It seemed like it was pretty well spread around. Both offense and defense had some penalties. Just what did you guys talk about in the locker room on that note, and just how do you clean up those mistakes moving forward?
Just got to be smarter, let our emotions get the best of us. But like we said, those are really fixable, so it's like nothing really big.
Yeah, and just being more patient and just understanding. Like, especially DBs, we have PIs. We just got to be more patient and play better on receivers and be calm under pressure. So all that stuff, like Kai just said, we can fix that. So we're going to get back on the film. We're going to learn from mistakes so we can get better.
Makai, your interception came at a key point, kind of shut down that drive before the half. Talk about that play, kind of what you saw there, and just how big you feel that was going into halftime.
Really, it's just our D-line, our front seven, was able to, pressure them all day. So he just probably wasn't comfortable back there, overthrew the ball, and I just made a good play on it.
For Chris and Makai, late in the game, it was an all-freshman secondary. You guys had 4 true freshmen back there, Nico, Tyron, Kalen. Just how fun for you guys was it just watching them out there, and how good was it for those freshmen to get some time this early in their careers?
Yeah, I've been telling – they were a little frustrated that they weren't able to get in a little earlier, but I had told them, once y'all chance comes, just play your game. I've been telling a lot of people, those guys are going to be really good. They can play now, as you've seen. Their confidence is, through the roof already, so them being able to play and show, that they're actually talented and can do the job, that was good for us.
Yeah, and I love those little dudes. They got a lot of heart, and they play with a lot of effort. So, yeah, just like Kai said, they're going to be good for the future. So just expect a lot out of them someday.
Kai, one more for you. You've been through injury. All 3 of you guys have actually been through a lot of injuries. So you've seen, guys come back. I'm sure it feels good. What's it like having Chris back? And, what does he mean to the defense, just having him kind of, around you on that secondary?
Me and Chris are on the same age, so when he was getting injured, that took a toll on me a little bit. Then I followed him with an injury, so it was we were both in rehab together. So us being in rehab together and understanding that we really can play good, but we just got to stay healthy. It hurts to see him out, but once he's back, as you can tell, we ball together. So that's just an upside for me.
All right, we'll call it good with these 3, and we'll get Brendan Lewis in here.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Brendan, just talk about your first start now that it's out of the way. We talked so much leading up to it, but now that it's out of the way, how'd you feel, and how would you assess your performance overall?
It felt good to get a win, but I felt like I didn't play. I felt like I played decent. Definitely could have played better, so I was kind of disappointed in the way I played, missed a few throws. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna come back to next week and get better and better for the A&M next week, big game.
What specifically do you think you can take from tonight and kind of carry it with you going forward this season?
Probably getting through my reads better. Not trying to escape the pocket. I know I had to a couple times, which I did, made a couple good plays, extending plays and stuff, but I feel like I could have did better reading, going through my reads and progressing through my reads, stuff like that.
How different was it starting a game as opposed to coming off the bench against Texas? I know it's a different type of level of opponent, but is it a different feeling knowing that you're the guy?
Yeah, it was definitely a different feeling, going to the game knowing I'm going to be the starter. So, yeah, it was a different feeling than waiting, sitting behind somebody, and then going into the game. At least I knew I was gonna play that game, but still, it was definitely a different feeling going in, knowing I was gonna be the guy.
Brendan, it was a bit of a slow start for you guys offensively, a couple 3-and-outs, not a lot of yardage, but what did it take to kind of just get it figured out and start moving the ball downfield? Did it take some time just to figure out what they were kind of giving you defensively?
Yeah, so we were preparing for them all week. We didn't have much film on them, so then they came out with a defense that we did not prepare for at all. So I feel like we did a good job coming out of halftime, making adjustments and stuff like that. So that was good, and yeah.
What did it mean to you to be named a captain for this game? And obviously, quarterback a lot of time is the captain, but for you to be, a second-year freshman and to be a captain, did that mean something to you?
Yeah, I mean a lot to me. I felt it made me feel good knowing that my teammates relied on me because they voted for it. So it felt good that they had my back and they thought I was a leader, that I could lead the team, one of the guys that could lead the team. So it made me feel really good.
Brendan, you had 4 tailbacks all score, and they were just helping you out through the entire game. What does it mean to you to have all of those guys to lean on throughout the game?
Yeah, it's no surprise. I mean, I've said this before that every dude in that running back room was a dog. So I wasn't surprised to see every single one of them get in the end zone because that's just what they do. They're all really good at what they do.
Brendan, we asked Coach about this. You get the 24-hour rule and a nice holiday weekend, but you mentioned it. You're a Texas guy. What does this game coming up mean to you and to the Lone Star guys that are on this roster that get a chance to play in a big setting like that?
Yeah, obviously it's a big game playing in Mile High, but like we're gonna go into the game. Like every game is really a big game. So we're not gonna try to get too up like all the rah over this game. We're just gonna prepare as need be for this game because we know it's a big game. But we're not gonna try to get too into it to where we're distracted and stuff like that.
Brendan, you had 10 completions tonight that went to 8 different receivers, including the tight ends. Just do you pride yourself on being a quarterback who can spread the ball around to a multitude of different guys? And what does that say just about the weapons you have around you at wide receiver and tight end, that you were able to find so many different guys tonight?
Yeah, I like getting everybody the ball because they're all really good and our offense can be really good. We have a lot of weapons on our team and they're all good at what they do. So I take pride in trying to spread the ball around and get everybody the ball. It felt good getting Montana his first catch, his first collegiate touchdown. So that was really cool.
Brendan, Coach talked a lot about the penalties and the discipline of this team, and he said he didn't see a whole lot of that in camp. Were you surprised by that? And, do you feel like this is something, Coach said this won't happen again. Do you feel confident that won't be an issue?
Yeah, those penalties surprised me too because, like Coach said in camp, we did not have those penalties at all. Like, when we got those penalties, I was like, come on, guys, we got to lock in. Like, we were not doing that at camp, but we'll definitely get it fixed this week going into next week. So I don't think that'll happen ever again.
Anything else for Brendan? Okay.
At least, especially early in the game, it seemed like there was a lot of chippiness on both sides. I know there's some former Buffs on that team and some Colorado guys. Was there some of that, and did that kind of fuel you guys, and maybe lead to some of that discipline issues?
It was definitely some chippiness going on. Not necessarily from the old Colorado guys. It was from like other dudes on UNC, but I don't think that played a factor into the penalties and stuff. That's just a part of the game. So.
All right, thanks, Brendan. Appreciate it.